baby, it's been hard for me to smile. Lately, it's been hard for me to smile. Lately, it's been hard for me to smile.
We're here with John, who's the owner of this stand. This stand has the Don't Tread on Me flags behind us. Right behind our camera is a Confederate flag. To be fair, there's Army flags, there's Blue Lives Matter flags, there's tons of different flags around this stand. John, why do you think it's divisive at all to have the Confederate flag being sold?
No. To answer your question, no. It's actually part of our history, and it doesn't really stand for racism. I know a lot of people say it does, but it doesn't. And also, the Confederate flag is not this traditional flag that we're used to, that everybody's seeing. It's actually a 7-star flag, which I have.
Okay, so the Fair did they outright banned the sale of Nazi flags this year. I don't get the impression you would have been selling those anyway, but they did make a recommendation that Confederate flags not be sold. I know there was a protest prior to the fair of somebody burning a Confederate flag along with the Nazi flag. What do you kind of say to those people that feel that it is divisive?
Do your history. What they're burning is actually not the Confederate flag. They're actually burning it's what they call the battle flag, and people don't know the difference. But it's like, again, it doesn't stand for what people think it stands for.
Is there an argument to be made, though, that at a certain point, if enough people feel that it represents I know a lot of African American people, probably the majority of African American people, feel that it represents slavery. Is there a point where you just say, given the climate of race relations in this country right now, that it's just not worth it, it's not part of the solution?
Absolutely not, because it's not a lot of African American. There's actually only 3% of the people who are actually against this. The media is actually blown this out of proportion to make you think that. For example, my friend, who's a 6'7" black guy, he helps me sell products when I need his help, and he has no problem doing it. But he's educated. He actually knows what the flag stands for, and it's not racism.
So flipping the script a little bit, we are around many American flags of different varieties, certainly within the last few weeks and really within the last year or so since Colin Kaepernick started taking a knee during the National Anthem. That has been a hot topic. How do you feel about that protest? Do you feel that it's disrespectful to the flag, or do you feel that he is using his First Amendment right and fighting for good? And not just him, different people across the league at this point.
Absolutely no. I'll give you a little bit of history about our flag. When we came over here and the Brits tried to dominate us, they felt if they could take down the flag, that they'd break our spirit. And so what they did is they pointed their cannons towards the flag, and this is what our national anthem's about. And in the morning when the flag was there, what would happen is when the flagpole started to go down because they were pointing the cannons to it, people would rush up, grab the flagpole, and keep it standing. So in the morning, when they say the flag is still there, there was all these hundreds of dead bodies there, keeping it up.
So just to be clear, you're against the protest?
I'm 100% against the protest. If you have an issue, go on your own platform, do it. God bless you. But you're there to play a game, nothing else.
Do you feel that even if you don't like the way that the protest is being done, do you think what they're protesting, fighting for racial equality in their minds, fighting against police brutality, do you think that is a just cause and you just don't like the way they're going about it?
No, I mean, if something's happened in their life and they want to fight for it, God bless them, do it. But you don't go to your job and do it at your job. We're here to watch you play football. And I'm going to give you an example. I'll take you back a few years with Peter, Paul, and Mary. Peter, Paul, and Mary were activists in their time. 20 years ago, we went to see a concert. We went to see them in concert, and then they started spewing their stuff that they used to do in the 60s. I didn't come here to see them do that. I come here to listen to you do your music. I am actually very, very offended for somebody to do that.
Do you think at all, though, that, I mean, I do feel whether you agree with the topic or not, a conversation has been started in the last year or so, and a lot of these people, Colin Kaepernick's donated a lot of different money to different charitable organizations, kind of put his money where his mouth is. Malcolm Jenkins of the Eagles has worked with different police groups. So they're doing this to raise awareness, but also kind of backing it up in the community. So doesn't that kind of say that they're using their platform to try to make America, for lack of a better term, great?
No. To make it go away, to make racism go away, is the only way to do it is let's not talk about it. And that's when it goes away. That's why every time this goes public and somebody interviews me like you, people come the next day and they buy me out of this Confederate things. If you want it to truly go away, just stop talking about it, and racism will go away.
Why do you think that they come and buy you out of it the next day? Do you think it's because that emboldens them to buy them?
It's because now they think, oh my God, the fair's going to stop making me sell them, and they want to go and get their flag. But as before, the day before, they weren't even thinking about buying a flag. But now that it's been brought to the attention, now they want their flag, and now they want to buy me out.
So you think racial relations since President Trump's taken over, we're about a year since he's been elected, 8 or 9 months since he's been in office, do you think they've improved?
Actually, I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Okay, do you think that that's something a president can fix, or is it more a systematic thing that, how in your mind would we go about fixing that? If we assume that people aren't just going to stop talking about it, but that there are real issues in terms of mass incarceration, in terms of, I mean, we've seen videos of Philando Castillo and Alton Sterling and people being unjustly shot, and the people that did that to them not being held accountable. How do you go about making that change?
Very, very simple. Turn off the news. Do not listen to anything the news says. In all reality, they want you to hate your neighbor. They're the prime suspect that keeps us going. If you turn off the news, then I won't hate my brother. They want us to hate our brother because that's what sells, is the news.
But if you see someone on the news being, forget Fox or CNN or MSNBC, if you see someone being shot at the hands of law enforcement unjustly, and that's not to say that there's not cases where lethal force was necessary or whatever the case may be, but when you see them shot unjustly, does that not bother you just as an American that they were shot unjustly at the hands of law enforcement and not held accountable for it?
Oh, 100%. If you do something wrong, you should be held accountable. And it's not about a black and white issue. It's any issue. If one of our brothers, it don't matter what color, is shot, and they deserve it, absolutely.
So when you see these cases, don't you understand, I guess, how that upsets African Americans? Because that's not to say that there aren't cases where white people are shot by the police, but people throw out this number all the time about more white people are shot by the police, but African Americans only make up 13%. They're shot at a higher clip, a percentage, than white people are. So when you see that, if I was African American, I'm not African American, that bothers me.
Every time that I've seen it personally on the news, if I watch the news, it's not about a person of color. It was about a person not doing what they were supposed to be doing. They told them, hey, stick your hands up. They didn't stick their hands up. It has nothing to do with color.
But does that mean you get shot then if you don't stick your hands up?
No, it doesn't mean you get shots, but when the police tell you to do certain things and then that person reaches for a so-called gun, then you take your life in your own hands.